Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Time now for the Business Beat. Join your host, Ralph White, along with his co-hosts, Leanne Farmer, Bonnie Landau, and Mary Mollenhoff, and their guests. Business Beat, keeping their finger on the pulse of business to increase the flow of profit. Here now is your host, Ralph White, and the Business Beat.
Welcome to another edition of the Business Beat. I'm Ralph White, and I am here today with Leanne Farmer. How are you today, Leanne?
I'm doing very well, Ralph. Thanks. How are you?
Excellent, excellent.
Good.
It's a beautiful day in Southern California, so we're going to send sunshine to anybody that doesn't have it right now. So we have a great show planned for you today. Tell us, Leanne, what about our guest?
Well, our guest today is a friend of mine named Thuy Le, and she is a real estate agent with Sotheby's International Realty, and she works primarily in the Brentwood area here in Los Angeles. And I was talking to Thuy the other day, and I thought it would be really great for our listeners if we had kind of a market update on real estate conditions, and they could have a chance to talk to an expert in this area. So, Thuy, I welcome you to the Business Beat.
Thank you to you both. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate you being here, and definitely a pertinent topic for this time. So what can you tell us? What would be the biggest insight that you could give us about real estate right now?
Gosh, the biggest insight, I think what's happening is that the buyers and sellers are really awake. They're on the same page as to the price points of homes, and so that's leading to a lot of market activity. So we've seen properties that have had even 30 offers on the property, and this is a property in Brentwood on Gretna Green. So that's really exciting, and I would say that's something which we've been waiting for the past 3 years, to see the market be so vibrant with both buyers and sellers being on the same page.
How close are they together? Or are they still a wide gap between what they think it's worth and what they're willing to pay?
I am not seeing that. I am seeing homes where when the seller realizes that this is the market value, they place their home on the market, and buyers are realizing this is the market value, and they're making those bids. So it's really minimized the gap. Now, there are still homes that aren't selling because those homes are not realistically priced. And so when a home is not realistically priced, we think of those homes as not really being even in the market. They're out there, out of the market.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but you actually just don't consider those as part of the big pool of possibilities that you're working from.
Exactly. In fact, oftentimes, agents and buyers will look at that and say, gosh, we'll basically use that home to make this particular home look even better by saying this home is so well priced compared to a home that's overpriced. So they're getting a value when a buyer realizes that they're getting a value comparing those two homes.
Right. I want to make sure our listeners know that if you have questions regarding your own real estate situation, Thuy is indeed an expert in this area. So if you do have questions, feel free to call us here at 800-555-5453, and we'll make sure that Thuy can answer your questions about real estate. So, Thuy, what kind of incentives are out there right now available to buyers that might sweeten the pot a little bit and get them moving in this market?
Well, for California, we're in a very special situation where there's $200 million allocated to stimulate the real estate economy. And as you know, the real estate economy, once that's stimulated, the overflow is so tremendous, it affects so many other aspects of business. But there's $100 million set aside for first-time home buyers. That means someone who has not purchased a home or have a principal residence in the past 3 years. And then the other $100 million is provided for anyone to buy a brand new constructed home that's never been lived in. So it's $200 million, and it's available for anyone. There's no price point as to the home value, and there's no income limitation. We had the federal program, which allowed $8,000, and that did have a price point minimum, price point maximum, and then income maximum as well. But this program is pretty phenomenal. So it's active. It's happening right now. And last time this occurred, where the state of California provided this incentive, it was only $100 million, and that money ran out in about 4 months. So we think that this is going to continue to stimulate the real estate economy and really provide an incentive for buyers to purchase right now.
So what you're talking about is tax credits, right?
Yes, the tax credit. It's allocated over 3 years. So the $10,000 is divided into 3 years. It's applied a third to the next 3 years.
So certainly with summer coming up, this might be a good time, especially in the state of California, to find a realtor.
Absolutely.
What's a good way to find a realtor? I mean, how do I go about picking one?
Well, oftentimes people will ask their friends and family. Sometimes homeowners and renters may get marketing material in the mail, and I think it's always good to talk to several agents to really get a sense of, is this a person that's going to make, going to make that relationship work? Because it really is a relationship with what one has with a real estate agent. So when they're looking for a real estate agent, I think they have to ask themselves a couple of questions, and I would divide them into hard and soft. So the hard, I'll start with the soft questions. Do you think this person gets what you're looking for? Like, do they get it? Do they understand that you're looking for X, Y, Z? Or are they going to just try to sell you whatever is out there? So that's important. And secondly, are they a team player? Because it's not just helping that buyer buy that home or helping that seller sell that home, but the other real estate agents involved in the transaction when the property comes into escrow, or even to show the property, that agent that one picks has to be a team player to make sure that they do the best they can to make everyone feel good, because that'll produce the best outcome for all parties involved, and especially for the client that hires that particular agent. And then the hard questions are, are they good at data analysis? How do I know? And then, are they good at negotiations, and how do they know? And when you speak to an agent who has those, who knows what you're looking for, is a team player, is good at data analysis, and is good at negotiations, they'll show it in many ways through their conversation, interaction, and what they can provide, whether it's testimonials or, when they evaluate one's property or one's financial ability to purchase.
Mm-hmm. Now, you talked about data analysis. What kind of data are you talking about?
Well, it has a lot to do with what is, I would say, what's happening in the local market, and is this agent looking at, not just active properties, which would be the competition for that particular property in mind, but also what has sold, what's the historical trend in the area, what's happening in the community, is there a lot of crime that would affect the value, is there pending improvements to the neighborhood, whether it's a rail line that we've been hoping for in LA, or is there a big development center coming up, or commercial real estate properties popping up. So I'd say all those factors are part of this data analysis.
Now that brings up just a question popped in my head as you were kind of going down that list of the things that the realtor needs to know about. From an ethical standpoint, I would imagine that the realtor has an obligation to make the buyer aware of any potential downsides to the transaction.
Yes. I mean, if an agent is aware of defects to the home, even if it might, stop the deal, that is something they definitely should tell their clients, because in the end, it's their client, and they need to have their client's fiduciary interest or best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. So now, as agents, we can't possibly know every single thing about the particular transaction.
Right.
And so we tell our clients, we coach them to really do the due diligence necessary to inspect the home, drive around the neighborhood, do their research, call the police department, do all those things they need to do to make sure they feel really good about that neighborhood and that home. Talk to the neighbors. There's nothing wrong with actually going up to the house next door and knocking on the door and find out, hey, do you like this neighborhood? Because I think that's part of when one makes an investment as large as real estate, it can take, and one doesn't like that property or whatnot, it can be challenging to immediately sell the property and move on. So I would advise my clients to do all those things to really feel good about the area and the home that they're going to be living in.
Do you think we've hit the bottom on the pricing? on the
Gosh,
market?
it feels like it in some situations, and it feels like it's not in other situations. When a property gets 30 offers, it's hard to say that we've hit bottom. I mean, it feels like there's still room for movement, and I think our economy is such that we grew actually 3% this past quarter. However, the unemployment numbers are kind of high, so it's hard to figure out have we hit bottom, and I would not. I wish I had the answer to that, and that would require probably hindsight, right? So 6 months from now, we'll look back and say, have we hit bottom? Maybe we'll have the answer, but right now, anyone who says we have or haven't, I would be really, really amazed at their ability to say that.
How much would you say that the prices of houses in the South Bay area have dropped in, say, the last year and a half?
Wow, I would say about 30%.
30?
Really, that much?
Wow.
Guess we'll be sticking around for a while, huh, Ralph?
Yes.
Let's say the past 2 years, it's been about 30%.
So 30. So my house has gone down 30% in value in the last 2 years.
I'm not quite sure of your exact house, but the average home, the average market, is what that's the figure everywhere. I mean, not just the South Bay, but we're looking at Brentwood and Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, Bel Air. We've seen tremendous price drops.
Wow. Again, if you have questions about your property that you'd like to ask Twee, please give us a call here at the studio at 800-555-5453, and we'll put you on with Twee Lay. Now, Twee, if I'm thinking about selling my home, what are some questions I should ask myself to figure out if it's a good time for me to do that, to list it?
Well, I think selling one's home is certainly a very personal decision. So it has to start with, is this the right time for me? If a buyer were to come in tomorrow, would I be able to move? Do I have another place to go to? And what am I going to do with this money? Is it the right year for this type of income or this type of capital gain? So I think those are some of the questions. People try to time their house sale, and that would be in an ideal situation. That would be fantastic if we can time it, and I think it has to be a personal decision first.
So what I'm hearing is that you probably run across people that they go ahead and list their house, and boom, it sells, and they're kind of caught off guard.
Absolutely. And so then they go and try to buy another home, and then let's say they find a house, and then they have this contingency on the second house, where if they sell their house, they can then buy the second house, and it's just not a great situation to be in, because it just puts everyone into it's precarious and it's ambiguous. So it's better just to really know what the next move is. If I were to sell my home today, what will I be doing tomorrow?
So you're saying the first step is figure out what I'm going to do. So like, I've decided I want to sell my house. I'm prepared to move and rent someplace. So I'm ready to go. Or should I move out of my house first and just leave it vacant so I can sell it that way?
Yes. But actually, regarding a vacant home, I would say don't leave a home vacant unless the furniture unless the furniture is very unique. So typically, a home that has furniture in it will allow most buyers to envision themselves living in it. Oh, they see the couch over there in the corner. Well, their couch might fit in the corner. So it gives the prospective buyer, the opportunity to sort of also add in their pieces of furniture, and it makes the home feel much more warm and lived in than cold and sterile without any furniture. Which is why staging is so popular.
Right.
Yeah, I'm interested in the staging, and also in the fixing it up. Should I paint my house? Should I, do the things that I've been putting off doing, before I sell it, or should I just sell it as is?
Gosh, that is the $20 million question. I would typically say that if the home first of all must be clean, so all surfaces need to look immaculate. So whether it's the wall, if there's really old paint on the wall, I would say make that investment and paint the wall. If there's if there are repairs that need to be made that are easy, such as a leaky faucet or a leaky toilet or a hinge that doesn't close properly, those are fairly minor repairs to make, and they cost very little money. However, for a buyer to look at that and what in their mind they just think, oh my gosh, it's going to cost thousands of dollars to fix it. So it's better to fix things that can be easily fixed. However, selling a home is not the time to do that renovation. If you wanted to renovate the bathroom, that isn't the time to do it, because likely the amount of return and aggravation that one might get is not what one wants. So it's best to just fix the home, make it look as nice as possible with what's there. And then I would say do three things. One is definitely declutter. There's just, we are pack rats of America. There's too much clutter in everyone's homes, including mine, but I'm not selling my home. So I say declutter, and then I would say decorate for the end likely buyer. Who is going to buy that home? Is it going to be a single person? Is it going to be a family? And if if the homeowner can decorate so that it appeals more to that target market, I would say it's more likely that we're going to appeal to that particular audience. And then lastly, I would say provide a polished look, and that's icing on the cake. So you fix a leaky faucet, you fix a leaky toilet, you've made some nice decorations in the living room, and you want to go through and say, can I do certain things, place certain items that are very commonly used, like towels or rugs, that will make this home look polished and pulled together. So those elements are one can do oneself. Hiring a staging company is fantastic. I would recommend that. But if someone feels like they have all the right pieces of furniture, they can do some staging themselves and make the home look really spectacular for not a lot of money.
Excellent. Twee, we have a call from a listener who has a question for you. We have a call from a Jason from Marina Del Rey. Jason, I believe you're on the air with Twee Lay from Sotheby's.
Hi, yes. I was just wondering if I want to invest in real estate, which neighborhoods have the best potential for return right now?
Now, are you talking about in the Los Angeles area, Jason?
Yes, in the Los Angeles area.
Okay. Twee?
Well, will you be living in this home, or will it be an investment property?
Oh, just as an investment property.
Would you like to own a multifamily, like a duplex or a 4-unit, or are you looking at a single-family home?
I just want my home to appreciate in value.
Okay, absolutely. So I would say right now, an area that was so hot and booming a few years ago was actually Venice. Our Venice right here. But yet now the market has decreased, and so Venice is actually a great place to buy right now. I would say that is a hot spot at this time, because these properties were $900, $1 million before. Now you can buy them at $700,000. So Venice is one of those pockets. I would say downtown is also very interesting, because the prices of homes in downtown and the rental are almost on par. So what one might pay for a mortgage versus what one would get back in rent is almost on par, and that's not commonly seen in other parts of Los Angeles. If you have a house let's say you have $1 million house in Santa Monica, it's likely that would rent out for maybe $4,000, but the mortgage on that is twice that amount.
Huh.
Typically, for someone who puts down, say, 20 to 25%, it's actually quite incredible. So those figures have to pan out. And then, last but not least, I would say, would you like to live in those places? Because if that property doesn't rent out, you may have to end up moving into it. So it's a decision as to whether you even can envision living in that neighborhood. You have to buy where your heart is, whether it's an investment. At least that's my belief. Whether it's an investment or someplace you want to live.
Well, okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you for your call.
So I'm sort of writing the process down here of how to sell my house based on what you're saying, and I see that. I see that we're going to take a break, so we'll have this secret formula process to have Twee work it out with me when we come back. So we'll be right back. Let's stay tuned.
you own your own business? What would happen if your computer system crashed? Would you be able to recover in a reasonable amount of time? Left Brain Tech's computer services caters to business owners who want reliable computer systems that work and are backed up in case of emergency. For your entire computer needs, call 888-239-2216 or visit leftbraintechs.com. IT solutions done right with Left Brain Techs. That's 888-239-2216 or leftbraintechs.com.
Making it perfect or nothing else is the company culture at Goldbrecht USA, a premier luxury window and door manufacturer. Doing business since 1889, every window and door is made with old-world craftsmanship and the finest materials, meticulous design, sleek finishing, and a commitment to the environment. They even use environmentally friendly transportation. Made in Germany, available in the U.S., Goldbrecht USA is located in Santa Monica, California. For the world's best windows and doors, visit www.goldbrechtusa.com or call now at 310-393-5540. That's 310-393-5540.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
Put a little light in your life and keep it shining with Intellectric.net, a full-service lighting design company. If you need a top electrical contracting firm to deal with all facets of electrical, from concept to completion, including repair, call Intellectric.net at 310-838-5486. They can use green technology. They are home automation specialists and they are high-end residential specialists. With prompt and efficient service, Intellectric.net has over 10 trucks, 28 employees, and on-call electricians available to handle your needs. Educated in state-of-the-art techniques and technology for all your electrical needs. Call dependable, innovative Intellectric.net today at 310-838-5486. Keep your light shining. Call 310-838-5486 or visit online at Intellectric.net.
HealthyLife.net for healthy side effects.
Welcome back to the Business Beat, and we're talking about real estate, and we're here today with Thuy Le, and we're talking about the real estate market in Southern California and how to buy a house or how to sell your house. Mm-hmm. And Leanne, I think you had a question.
Well, I'm fascinated by the whole staging conversation, and my depth of expertise comes from watching these house hunting shows on television. But I watch these shows, and I'm always struck by the people that go in and look at houses, the things that they notice or they get fixated on, like a color of paint in a room, and what do you find, Thuy, about when you're trying to sell your house? We talked a little bit about making it attractive to the right kind of buyer, but as people come in, what do they tend to focus on? Because I wouldn't focus on the paint. I would know I could change that. Mm-hmm. But
well, I think what they focus on is certainly what catches their eye the most. Mm-hmm. So if it is paint, they may not know why they love the home or why they don't love the home, but they'll remember that color paint. whether it's like beautiful textured wallpaper or that's made out of fabric, it just makes them feel so luxurious when they're in the home. They'll translate that into feeling good. If it's awful, I don't know, black paint on the ceiling, they'll translate that to feeling like they're in a cave. So that's why paint is so important, to neutralize the paint, because we just don't know who's going to be in the home. And people, when they see sort of an off-white wall, it may be boring, but it allows them to actually expand their mind and think of what they can do to the paint. They could paint it, pink if they wanted to, or purple, rather than feeling like, oh, they're stuck with a black ceiling. But I would say buyers look for, the bathrooms and the kitchens. Those are the big, costly items. Will they have to redo the bathroom? Will they have to redo the kitchen? Because really in a home, there's not much one can do to the bedroom except perhaps paint, redo the flooring, and add a closet or two. and that's sort of the limitations typically of a bedroom. But a bathroom and kitchen is where it's much costlier to move around. You know, maybe you have to move around the water line or the gas line or whatnot. That's kind of costly. So I would say those are things they look for. You know, and depending on that particular client and their age or who they plan to have in the home with them, they may want to look at a home that is only, you know, that is a ranch, you know, single story versus, you know, 2 stories or 3 stories.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're talking about the paint, you reminded me of the first house that I bought back, probably about 1968. And it was an ugly green outside. One bedroom was a real dark blue. The other bedroom was a dark pink. Bathroom was a dark green, and the kitchen was a dark yellow. And I bought it from the realtor. It was $300 down and $300 closing costs. And he never run a credit check on me, and the house was a mess. And when I'm signing the paperwork for it, I ask him, I says, you know, you never run a credit check or anything on me. And he says, you've seen the house. He says, you can't do anything to damage it. He says, will you move in and clean it up and don't make the payments? I've got the note on it. I'll step in and pick it back up and put you out on the street and sell it to somebody else. And that's how I got into the housing market.
Wow.
But
what a story.
I don't think there's too many deals like